Okay, let's unpack this. We're doing a deep dive today into something you might only think about when, well, when it breaks. Car glass.
Hmm,
It sounds simple, right? Just a protective pane of safety glass.
you'd think so.
But based on the stack of sources you've shared with us, the mission today is to find out what truly drives the enormous price variability in auto glass replacement and why a modern windshield is vastly more complex and expensive than you might ever realize.
It's a fantastic topic because the perceived value is so low, yet its actual functional importance is incredibly high.
Right.
If you've received a quote recently and had that sticker shock moment, it's usually because you're not just paying for glass. You're paying for a critical piece of vehicle technology and safety infrastructure.
And the variability is the initial surprise fact that jumped out at us. I mean, we're talking about costs that swing wildly.
Oh, massively.
From a quick chip repair that might cost you $50, all the way up to a full replacement that can easily soar past $1,500, depending on what vehicle you happen to be driving.
And that enormous cost spectrum is precisely what we need to decode. We'll start by analyzing the baseline prices for different types of glass, then we'll pivot to the essential role of modern technology, which is the biggest cost driver.
The big one.
And finally, we'll analyze why the precise professional installation process is a non-negotiable safety requirement.
So let's start with the base costs.
Hmm.
When you strip away all the electronics, what are we paying for across the different windows, and why is there already a cost hierarchy?
Well, the hierarchy begins with the material itself. The windows are not all the same type of glass.
Okay.
Your side windows and your rear window are generally made of tempered glass.
And tempered glass is the kind that's heat treated.
Exactly. It's designed to shatter into those small, blunt chunks upon impact, which is a safety feature. Because they are mechanically simpler, side windows are generally the most affordable, typically ranging from $200 to maybe $500 per window.
And if a side window breaks, it's always a full replacement, right? You can't repair tempered glass.
That's right. Once it's compromised, it just explodes into those tiny pieces. Repair is impossible,
Yeah.
which is fundamentally different from the windshield that uses laminated glass, 2 layers of glass with a minor layer in between. It's designed to crack but hold together, which is why a chip repair is even possible.
That makes perfect sense. So tempered side windows, cheapest replacement. But then we jump to the rear window, which often costs hundreds more. I'm seeing $300 to $700. Why is that back piece of glass so much more expensive than the side ones?
It's the integrated complexity. A rear window is rarely just a clear pane of glass.
Well, it has all those lines in it.
It has the wiring harness for the defrosting elements, often a cutout or a mounting point for a third brake light, and sometimes a built-in channel for the rear wiper system.
Ah, so the labor is way more involved.
Way more. The labor involved in safely disconnecting and reconnecting all those electrical and mechanical components drives up the time and the cost. If a technician accidentally damages a wiring harness, the price can really jump.
Understood. And the windshield, the most common replacement that sits on the broadest price spectrum. $250 up to $1,000 for standard vehicles before high-tech features.
Correct. And even with a basic laminated windshield, we need to talk about repair versus replacement.
Because the decision hinges on both the size and the location of the damage, right?
Precisely.
What's the magic threshold for getting that cheaper fix?
For a chip or a crack, if it's under 6 inches in length and not directly in the driver's immediate line of sight, you can often save significant money with a repair.
How much are we talking?
That usually costs between $50 and $150. It involves injecting a special resin into the damage.
But the sources stress that some damage triggers a mandatory replacement, regardless of how much we want to save money.
Yes. Any damage that impedes the driver's direct line of sight, that immediate viewing area, is a definite replacement.
Why is that? Even if it's repaired perfectly.
Because even a perfectly repaired chip can cause a slight optical distortion. You can't have that in your main field of vision. Also, if a crack extends all the way to the edge of the glass, or if you have multiple impact points, a full replacement is usually required to maintain the vehicle's structural integrity.
And before anyone schedules that replacement, there is one crucial practical check for you, the listener: insurance.
This is so vital. Your insurance policy plays a huge role in your final out-of-pocket expense. Many comprehensive auto policies treat glass damage differently than collision damage.
So you might have a lower deductible for it.
You might have a low deductible, or they might even waive the deductible entirely for windshield repairs. Calling your insurance company first can save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Never assume the full cost is yours to bear.
That is great practical advice. Now, let's transition from the physical structure to the safety structure, because this is where the costs start getting enormous and where we move beyond simple glass and into complex engineering.
This is probably the most crucial takeaway from all the material. The windshield is not merely a piece of glass to keep the wind out. It is an engineered component of your vehicle's safety cage.
Right, and you flagged a statistic that, honestly, it shocked me. A windshield can contribute up to 60% of the cabin's structural integrity in a rollover.
60%.
Wait, 60%. I always assumed the metal frame and the pillars were doing the heavy lifting at a crash. Are you saying the windshield is literally a primary support beam?
It absolutely is. Studies have confirmed it. Think about that for a moment. If the windshield pops out during a rollover, the roof is far more susceptible to collapsing because that 60% of support is instantly gone.
Wow.
That figure is the reason why professional installation quality matters so much.
60% of rollover protection. That immediately raises the stakes beyond just visibility or keeping water out. And this structural roll ties directly into what you call the 8AS tax, which is what pushes the replacement price into that terrifying $1,500 plus range.
Precisely. We are talking about the Advanced Driver Assistance Systems, or ADS.
Okay.
Anytime you see a vehicle with advanced safety features like automatic emergency braking, lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise control, you can assume there are cameras, radar, and sensors embedded in or positioned directly behind that windshield.
So why does a camera on the windshield complicate the repair? I mean, it's just a lens looking through glass, isn't it?
It's all about the geometry. When the old glass is removed and the new glass is installed, even if the new piece is an exact duplicate, the physical position of the sensor bracket or the camera housing shifts by a fraction of a millimeter.
Just a tiny bit.
A tiny, tiny bit. But that tiny positional change throws off the entire operational field of view for the camera.
Can you give us an example? What happens if that camera is misaligned by, say, a single degree?
Okay, take the lane keeping assist system. If that camera, which is usually mounted near your rearview mirror, is misaligned, the vehicle might read the lane marker 5 feet to the left as the edge of the road, which could cause the car to either try to steer you into oncoming traffic or dangerously disengage the safety feature at high speed. The same applies to adaptive cruise control. An inaccurate reading means an unsafe following distance.
So simply replacing the glass isn't enough. You have to do this post-installation calibration, and that's mandatory for safety.
It is absolutely mandatory for any ADAS-equipped vehicle. This calibration service involves hooking the car up to specialized software, often using targets placed precisely in front of the vehicle, to basically teach the computer exactly where the sensors are now located.
And that adds to the bill.
It does. It's a specialized service. It takes time, and it adds between $150 and maybe $400 to the total cost.
And this complexity brings us back to the parts cost. We touched on how vehicle make and model impact the price. Why are luxury European vehicles often the most painful to replace?
It really boils down to parts availability and specification. Domestic and popular imports have high production volumes, so their parts are widely available, leading to competitive pricing.
Supply and demand.
Exactly. But a European luxury vehicle often requires OEM original equipment manufacturer glass. It's made to the exact specifications by the car company itself, down to the tinting and sensor mounting points. Since it's made in smaller batches and sourced internationally, it is substantially more costly.
Okay, so it sounds like the technology drives the complexity, but the physical installation process is what ensures the safety. Let's move into that third phase, the installation game. This addresses the listener's practical question. How long does this whole ordeal take?
In terms of logistics, most replacements take between 1 and 3 hours. Side windows are the quickest, maybe 30 to 60 minutes.
Pretty fast.
Yeah. But a full windshield replacement, especially when you factor in the time needed for ADAS calibration, usually requires 2 to 3 hours total in the shop.
And weather plays a significant part here too, which I think a lot of people don't consider when scheduling.
It really does. The adhesives are very sensitive to temperature and humidity. Cold or wet conditions can significantly extend the necessary curing times.
So a mobile service might not be a good idea on a rainy day.
It's why a professional shop will insist on performing the work indoors in a temperature-controlled environment to ensure that chemical bond forms correctly.
The sources also stress the importance of preparation before the new glass even goes in. What does that prep work actually involve?
That preparation is arguably more critical than the glass itself. Technicians have to meticulously clean and prepare the pinch weld area.
The pinch weld, that's the metal frame, the channel where the glass sits.
Exactly, where it actually bonds to the body of the car. It has to be perfectly free of rust, old adhesive residue, or any debris.
And why is a perfect surface so vital? What happens if it's not?
If that pinch weld area isn't perfectly prepared, the automotive-grade urethane adhesive won't bond correctly. If it doesn't bond, you compromise that 60% structural integrity we just talked about.
So the whole safety cage is at risk.
The whole thing. You also create points where water can seep in, leading to leaks, wind noise, and eventual rust on the frame, compounding the failure risks down the road.
And then comes the waiting game, which is the most frustrating part for any driver. We are talking about cure time.
The waiting game is absolutely essential. After installation, the vehicle requires a specific safe drive-away time,
Which is how long?
typically 1 to 2 hours. That allows the urethane adhesive to achieve enough rigidity to hold the glass in place during routine driving.
But safe to drive isn't fully cured. You can't just go through the car wash right away.
Absolutely not. Full curing of that urethane adhesive takes a full 24 hours. During that entire window, you need to actively avoid high-stress situations.
Like what?
Well, automated car washes, high-speed driving that generates significant aerodynamic pressure, and this one surprises people, slamming your doors.
Oh, I hadn't considered the door slamming. That's a great little detail to remember. You just get in the car, slam the door out of habit.
Exactly. It creates a sudden, strong pressure differential inside the cabin that can compromise the still-curing seal at the edges of the new glass. It seems minor, but it's a 24-hour commitment to safety.
Let's circle back to the quality debate. OEM versus aftermarket glass. That's a huge factor in the final cost. Why should you, the listener, trust the more budget-friendly aftermarket option?
Well, OEM glass, as we said, is the gold standard. Perfect fit, perfect quality, but highest cost. Aftermarket glass offers significant savings, but you have to know what you're buying.
Meaning you need to look for certifications.
Yes. You should look for aftermarket glass that is certified by organizations like the Department of Transportation, or DOT, and the American National Standards Institute, ANSI.
What exactly are those certifications guaranteeing?
They're assuring two primary things. First, the structural integrity and crash performance, that the glass will perform identically to OEM in a crash test. Second, they certify the optical clarity and the precise fit.
And optical clarity is key for the ADS sensors.
Absolutely critical. You can't have distortions that confuse the cameras.
So cheap doesn't always mean dangerous, but going with an uncertified, unknown budget brand introduces a real risk of poor fit, leaks, and potentially dangerous optical issues.
It's a classic case of getting what you pay for. A certified aftermarket piece is engineered to meet standards. A non-certified, very budget option might be missing those critical qualities, making it a truly hidden risk.
All right, let's bring this deep dive home with the bottom line. Why the premium you pay for professionalism is effectively a necessary safety feature.
Because the windshield is integral to your safety structure, that 60% figure improper installation poses a real quantifiable risk. If a technician skips cleaning the pinch weld, uses the wrong adhesive, or doesn't allow for proper cure time, the glass might not be secured properly.
Which means in a severe accident.
The entire safety envelope of your cabin could fail.
So what does a professional warranted service guarantee that, say, an uncertified mobile budget service might skip?
They guarantee proper sealing preventing leaks and wind noise. They guarantee correct tested adhesive use and proper curing time protocols. And crucially for modern vehicles, they guarantee the accurate ADS sensor positioning and calibration, ensuring your automated safety features function as designed.
And that peace of mind is backed up with a tangible warranty.
Exactly. Reputable auto glass companies stand by their work. They provide warranties covering workmanship and materials against leaks or adhesive failure. It's insurance on your installation.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, if you are seeking a quote? If you need a quick way to estimate the damage to your wallet, what are the 3 key factors that are going to move the cost needle the most?
The 3 major factors are: 1, which window is broken; The rear glass often costs more than a side window due to all those integrated electrical features.
Defroster, lights, got it.
2, whether or not the replacement requires a DS calibration. That's a mandatory service that instantly adds hundreds of dollars to the quote. And 3, the choice between costly OEM glass versus certified aftermarket glass, which can often save you 30 to 50% on the part alone.
That is extremely clear. So what we learned today is that auto glass is definitely not just glass anymore. It's a primary structural safety feature, providing up to 60% of your cabin's rollover integrity. Modern vehicle glass replacement almost always includes that complex and necessary 80 sensor calibration. And finally, cure time. That 1 to 2 hour safe drive-away time plus the 24-hour full cure is absolutely non-negotiable.
And that leads to a final provocative thought for you to consider. If a professional installation guarantees the structural integrity needed to withstand a rollover, does choosing a budget installer who skips vital steps, like allowing for full cure time or attempting a replacement without proper ADS calibration, introduce a hidden safety risk?
A risk you can't even see.
A hidden, unknown risk that you might never be able to detect until it's far too late. The price of expertise here isn't a luxury. It might just be the cost of maintaining your vehicle's most critical safety features.